Are you tired of being around people who just don't get you? Have you been putting yourself out there but not able to find anybody that matches your vibe? You're not alone. Making friends, especially as an adult, is hard. My name's Coach Lee. I'm a social connections coach, and I want to help you find your tribe. I have a 3-step coaching program for groups and individuals that's designed to help you get to the right place, to meet the right people, to have the right kind of conversations that leave you feeling fulfilled, appreciated, and understood. After going through the Find Your Tribe coaching program, you'll discover who it is that you really want to be connected to, how to find those people, and what you need to talk about so that your relationship moves from an acquaintanceship to a close friendship. And with this program, you won't be on this journey alone. You'll have access to a private community in which there are others who are just as intentional about making the kind of connections you are. You'll also have access to live events like weekly Q&As, speed friending, and much more. You'll be able to practice your skills in a safe environment and feel confident to connect authentically when you get out into the real world. If you're ready to get started on making meaningful connections and lasting relationships, then apply to the coaching program by using the link in the show notes. Hey, what's going on? My name's Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about vulnerability. Of course, I keep talking about being vulnerable. You know you have to do it. You know you have to open up so people can connect to you. But it's scary. It doesn't feel good when you get rejected, so you don't want to do it. But you've got to. And I want to help you make it easier on yourself. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to be vulnerable without exposing yourself too much and discovering who are the right people that are going to be able to understand you. The ones that are capable and that actually really care and are interested in who you are. This technique is going to help you open up to those people and find the right ones. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so nobody wants to open up. I just want to put it right there, except me. Maybe I'm just the rare entity that's rolling around. Just be vulnerable. Just open up. Just tell me everything that's happening inside of your soul, because I want to know. And that's weird. Admittedly, I think that people would run away from that. But also, people do want to be known. They just don't want people to judge them for the stuff that's happening on the inside. And I also believe that it's pretty esteeming to keep some secrets. Like, it feels good to know something that other people don't know. You feel better about that. You feel better than them. You're like, oh, I've got the secret to the universe and you don't, dummy. But this is not the kind of vulnerability that I'm talking about. Essentially, I'm talking about the kind of vulnerability where you share something that's important to you with another person. And when you share that, there's always a fear of being blamed, shamed, guilted, embarrassed, and we're really, really trying hard to avoid those feelings. But the way we are designed is to share, to be in community with other people. And nothing makes us more connected than sharing our feelings. It's an illusion that if you are physically present with someone, that you are connected. It is not as great as sharing an experience. It's not as great as sharing how you feel about an experience. And those people who don't know how they feel about their experiences don't know how to be vulnerable. And those people who've had experiences where they did talk about their feelings, their joy, their anger, their sadness, their fear, and they got shut down, they got guilted, they got embarrassed, they got hurt in some way, they closed right up. I mean, that was all of me. That's all I ever did, was like, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't open my mouth for anything because I didn't want to be judged. And I was mad at everybody that didn't understand me, but I wasn't telling them who I was, but I really wanted them to understand me. But I wasn't telling them. I wouldn't tell them until I got to a point in which I had to explode. Like I was holding my feelings back so much. Or I would just randomly drop something in a regular conversation. I would just kind of overshare because it was just way too much. It was way too much. I was holding on to experiences. I was holding on to ideas. I was holding on to things that I thought people would judge me for. And then, boop, I drop it in the conversation. It was out of place. It was out of context. It was just boom, right there. Everybody was shocked and confused. And wow, I feel stupid. I feel rejected. I feel like, what happened? Judged? Maybe everybody judged me. I don't know. And then there I go, being vulnerable in places that I don't need to be vulnerable in places where people aren't expecting it, catching everybody off guard. I don't know if any of this resonates with you, but this was my experience. I didn't know how to be vulnerable. Sometimes it just kind of came out. If you ever overshared, if you ever just continuously talked at somebody, you have struggles with being vulnerable, but you want to be heard. You want to be understood. Completely understandable. Because opening up to others is very daunting. But it's through this vulnerability that we really discover our authentic selves and we build those meaningful relationships that we're talking about. We're just doing it at the wrong times. We're doing it too much. We're not doing it with the right people. We're not talking about the relevant thing, that the relevant vulnerability piece there. Until we feel less fear about being judged, about being embarrassed, or about being shamed, we can do some things to reduce that probability, that possibility. Because certainly, no matter how much you practice your self-care and your love for yourself, and you're like, no shame, no blame, or all that, you try to keep that mantra going, you're going to feel it. Because it's a feeling. You're going to feel it. And if you get better at recognizing those people who are likely to shame, blame, and embarrass you about some things, then you would feel more confident in moving around in the world. And you can always test for these kind of things. This is what I do as a social connections coach. I want to help empower you make those meaningful connections and find people that really care about you. So you don't want to open up to anybody because that person right there is going to hurt you. You just didn't notice. Or that person over there isn't going to understand you and you're going to feel blamed, or you're going to feel judged, or you're going to feel shame, or maybe you'll feel embarrassment because you said something to the wrong person. What we want to do is get better at identifying those people who are likely to understand us. And we can always test for these kind of things. So what I've discovered and what I devise and what I use is a simple 3-step process. I talk about this as the we, the you, and the me. So this approach helps you break down the barriers to self-disclosure and allows you to gradually share your truth, because you don't want to do too much too fast or to the wrong person. This me, you, we process is going to help you decide who you want to connect with. Okay, so let's break this down. There's the me. This is your truth. This is the thing that you wish to share. It's something that specifically makes you vulnerable. For example, for me, I'm transgendered. So this is about me wanting to share that with somebody. If I'm going to be close to them, they're going to have to know this. And there might be something about you that you want other people to know. So we have to start there. Figure out what that is. So this is the step of self-acceptance, of understanding me, the self, right? So you acknowledge that about yourself. So, okay, I got it. I'm trans. And I want the people in my life who are going to be close to me to know that. Whatever it is for you, it is for you. And then we go to the you. The you is a little further away from the me. The me is the more vulnerable piece. If people knew, people are likely going to be reacting to that thing, and that's what you're more afraid of. But the you is a transition from the me level to the more relatable you level. This is where you share aspects of your truth that others might connect with or they might understand. For example, in my definition or my experience, I'm trans, and the you of that, the one that's not directly identifying me, but it's associated with me, is saying something like, I have trans friends, or I actively engage in the trans community, right? So this creates some bridge of understanding, empathy. It's like I connect with these people. So I'm related to them. I understand their experiences, but I don't quite identify myself as that person, not just yet, because I want to be strategic, right? So then there's the we piece of this, the one that's really far away from us, the one that it shows that we share our support, that we understand this group of people. It shows shared support. It doesn't directly identify you as that person or as that thing that you want them to know about. So the we, you expand the conversation to the we level, and you express your support for broader causes related to your truth, such as I support trans causes. This step fosters a sense of shared values and community with the we group, but it doesn't identify me as part of the group. So what I'm saying here and how you're going to use this is to recognize that the further away you are from the truth that you share, like your own truth, the further away you are from that, the easier it's going to be for you to share it with someone. And what you're going to do is you're going to watch how they respond to your truth. So if you say it, I support trans causes, which is the we of the fact that, I'm a trans person, but I support trans causes, and I'm going to watch how they respond. If they respond in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable, that makes me feel they can't handle my truth, that makes me feel that they're going to judge me, saying, why would you do that? Or something like that. If they respond in a way that doesn't feel good to me, then I won't share anything else. It's a really great way to test to see if people are capable of knowing the deeper you. So you just want to be careful about that. You might want to spend more time hanging out with this person to see more about who they are before you start talking about you as your authentic self. You might want to put some distance between yourself depending on how they respond to that. Whatever it is, it's about you being safe and comfortable with being vulnerable. You don't have to open up yourself to recognize that that's not going to be a great person for you to be with. We want you to do it sooner rather than later, because I want you to remember the depth of who you are. Not everybody can understand that, especially as you get older. Not everybody can fathom all the experiences that you had, the life transitions, the ideas, the feelings that you've had about your experiences. Not everybody can, and it's a pain for you to try and understand them. It's a pain for you to try to get them to understand you. Don't do that. Don't spend time trying to change them to get them to believe the belief that you have. Don't open yourself up to people who don't understand and aren't committed to trying to understand you. Be strategic with your vulnerability. Use the me, you, we method to determine who is worthy of being vulnerable with. I'll be right back with the answer Reddit question. Hey, this is Coach Lee Hopkins here. I just want to let you know that you're awesome and your feelings matter. I know the holidays are fast approaching, and if you're going home to a family to be surrounded by people who don't believe that your feelings matter, and you constantly get caught up in the fighting and the frustrations, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, the obligations that you have with family, I want to empower you to break those generational patterns of disdain and distrust. I will be releasing content from my masterclass, Friends with Family. This content from Friends with Family is going to help you develop skills to be more grounded in yourself so that you can actually connect with your family. You are going to learn to create more connecting and curious conversations. You'll also learn how to navigate high drama topics without getting drawn into a conflict. Now, this course is not going to fix deep-seated problems that you might have with your family members, and it won't heal any traumas that you've experienced. It's going to help you communicate more authentically, to empower you to have regular conversations and actually connect with your family. It's my sincere hope that more of us out there who are breaking those generational patterns to not just stop the pain from moving forward, but to really become friends with our family. If you want to be a part of this, check the link in the show notes. All right, now it's time for the Reddit friendship advice question. If you have a friendship advice question that you think I should answer, tag me in it on Reddit. My handle is Brilliant and Resilient. That's Brilliant, the letter N, Resilient. How do you keep friends if you don't want to hear about their problems? Basically, the title is the question. I don't know why, but I keep finding people that once the problem barrier falls always talk about the same problems, and I get tired of it. Am I selfish? I only know once someone mentions a personal topic more than twice without changing their perspectives or sign of progress or show any signs of progress, my interest just vanishes. I don't want to talk about the same stuff all the time. I hate repetition. But also, I don't know what topics I want to talk about. I have very specific interests and zone out once people start talking about stuff I'm not interested in. I know this is rude, but maybe someone can relate. That was it. Dear Redditor, I'm so grateful that you wrote this. I laughed when I was looking for this. How do you keep friends if you don't want to hear about their problems? If they're annoying you? How do you keep friends with people like that? Okay. I know this episode is about vulnerability. And this is partly why I chose it, because you, listener, may be struggling with both of these. You might be a person who wants to be vulnerable and open up, and you're afraid that you'll get somebody who reacts like this. They don't want to hear about your problems. So it is kind of scary. And I just want to put it out there so that we can look at both sides. All right. I definitely recommend that you use that skill that we talked about to check for people to see if they're capable of hearing about you and interested in you. And you're going to know if they're curious about you when you share. You're going to watch for the response, right? That means that they may be capable of handling your deeper, darker stuff eventually, the truth of who you are when it gets down to it. But you give them an opportunity with some light stuff. And I'd recommend that you test this light stuff a couple of times. You share a couple of things that are in the we level from you to see how they're going to respond, to see what they're going to do, to see if their eyes are going to glaze over like this person. I don't know why I called them a guy, but it could be a female, could be gender fluid person. I don't know. But as I read this, I was thinking, yeah, it is pretty annoying to have to deal with somebody who continues to bring the same problem to you. The same problem over and over again. Hey, here's the problem that I had yesterday. Here's the problem that I had last week. Here's the problem that I had when you first met me. Here's the problem I had when I was a kid. Here's the same problem when I was a baby. Here it is. I'm going to bring it all to you. And you just keep talking about it over and over and over again. You want to watch out for these people, and you don't want to become this person. You want to take action to make changes in your life. I recommend that. The friend here, though, the one who doesn't like repetition, who hates the same stuff, they also mention that they don't know what to talk about. They don't know how to change the conversation, to switch it to something else, to say, hey, I want to talk about something else. And right here, I want to say that there's a lack of vulnerability here. Now let's look at the definition of vulnerability for me and the sake of this. And the way I roll, the way I rock with vulnerability is that you understand how you feel about your experiences and you're willing to share them. Being vulnerable with someone means that you're willing to share your feelings. This person is not being vulnerable with the other person. They're not talking about how they really feel. They're not saying that to them. And I think it would help the friendship figure itself out if they were open and honest. Because that person who wants to repeat the mistakes and the problems over and over and over again is looking for something. I don't know if they're looking for a sympathetic ear, or they're looking for someone to show them pity, or they're looking for a solution. Whatever it is, the friend who is annoyed and cannot tell them about it, they don't like, the Redditor who posted this is the one who doesn't like the repetition, who doesn't know what it is that they want to talk about. They're missing something. And so if they just were vulnerable with this, the relationship would fix itself. The relationship would fix itself. If I said to you, friend, I don't like the topics that you bring up, I want to talk about something that's important to me, then the conversation would change. That person would have to adjust. They might leave, whatever it is, but you see the dynamic of the relationship change. What I see here is that the Redditor who posted this doesn't quite have an understanding about what it is that they want to talk about. They don't know what's important and interesting to them, so they go along to get along, and they're annoyed because they're going along to get along and not getting what they want. This is what I see. and you start zoning out because you're not talking about those specific interests. What about those interests are you afraid that you're going to get rejected for? If you have these specific interests and you're not sharing with them, it doesn't seem like a friendship to me. I think friends talk about how they feel openly and authentically with each other. Openly, I'm going to share how I feel about that dumb nonsense you keep bringing to me over and over again. Go fix your shit and stop telling me about it. All right, that was rude. But that's how the guy feels. Person, Redditor, whose gender I do not know. That's how they feel about their experience. And they also want to share something, but they're not talking about that either. They're not being vulnerable. How do you get connected with people that you don't want to talk about what's real and true and important to you? How do you call those people your friends? That's the question here. Not how do you keep friends if you don't want to hear about their problems. How do you make better friends? You start talking about what's real and true to you. You start talking about how you feel. You start talking about being vulnerable, and you're going to watch people move away from you, guaranteed. Not everybody's going to understand you. Not everybody's going to like you. People want to just tell you things about their lives. They're not interested in what you say. You have to get to a point where it's okay. You realize that the thing you want to talk about, what's important to you, is really all you need. That vulnerability piece, sharing openly and authentically with others. Redditor, thank you so much for asking your question. I know that you didn't ask me to answer it, but I did, and I hope that it helps. Best of luck to you. Take care. My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and you have been listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. You can find me at patternsofpossibility.com and on all social media at Patterns of Possibility. And as always, I want to encourage you to be yourself, live your truth, and there you'll make lasting friendships.